Hi, I'm Stavros. Good morning and welcome to Ross-on-Wye, Herefordshire in the UK. I'm joined today by Andrew Lancet. Now, Andrew is a driver for Mandarin Stone. They have 14 trucks in their fleet. So Andrew delivers all stonework all around the UK. But what he uses to deliver the stone on site is a truck-mounted forklift built by ABT Loadmac. So Andrew is taking me to the factory where this truck-mounted forklift is being built, and he's going to demonstrate the capabilities of the forklift and give us a full demonstration of how it works. So I'm really looking forward to learning more about this truck-mounted forklift. So Andrew, are you getting on well with this truck-mounted forklift?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very good to have when you're doing deliveries to building sites and other places in general. It's just, it makes offloading so much faster to have one of these truck-mounted forklifts. We have a bunch of guys on motorbikes here. There must be a motorbike run. But yeah, Andrew's going to take me back to the factory now and we'll learn an awful lot more about this truck-mounted forklift. Let's go! Okay, so we have arrived at ABT Loadmac. Andrew is going to demonstrate the truck-mounted forklift there on the back. And yeah, we're going to be going around for a look around the factory shortly. And we'll be demonstrating off-road. Hopefully I can get to drive one of these off-road and see what it's like. But Andrew, you can work away and taking off the back of the forklift there. So we're in a G410 Scania. So this has 2,150 Newton meters of torque from its 13 litre diesel engine. So we have the rigid and drag. So yeah, it is a very long truck when you look at it. So it's about 12 foot longer than a 45 foot trailer connected to an articulated truck. So yeah, it is quite long. But the G410. So this is your Loadmac. This is known as the 825. So it's got a 2.2 litre Yamaha diesel engine, naturally aspirated diesel engine. Now Andrew is just taking off the chains, quite easy to do on the Loadmac, and he's going to demonstrate offloading his truck with the pallet. So yeah, he's just getting on his seatbelt and down with the safety bar. So it's all very quick getting this off the truck. So down on the ground, and then you'll see he gets it off. Very easy to do. Okay, he's going to come down beside me here and take off his pallet of stone. So he's going to take this pallet off, put it on the ground, and then he's going to reach over and grab that second pallet from the reach system here on the Loadmac 825. You can also get a Loadmac with turning front wheels and a turning rear wheel, so you can drive the forklift this way. So very handy for your long steel beams if you're delivering long loads. So yeah, so he has a lift capacity of 2.5 ton in the Loadmac 825. Very quick and easy to do. But wait until you see when he extends over and grabs the far side. This is the great thing about the reach system on this 825 Loadmac. Andrew can reach over and grab that second pallet, so one side offloading with his truck. So if you can imagine, if you're on a site and you don't have space on the far side of the truck to take off that pallet, you can take it off from this side. So yeah, very nice. And it's a nice compact size as well. It's not too long, so it's not sticking off or sticking out the back of the truck too much. But yeah, we'll be learning all about the different engines in these forklifts as well, because it's not just a Yamaha engine. They also do a Kubota engine. So now watch this now, watch. Extending over, grabbing the pallet. Now to give the forklift extra stability, these little rubber mounts here, you see there, you would touch the truck at the side just to give the load extra stability when you're pulling it across. But it all depends on the weight of the pallet you're pulling across. Now you can see that was very easily done. Easy work for this. It's a 49 horsepower engine, 2.2 litre diesel, as I said, naturally aspirated. But there you go. That is how quick you can offload the pallets on your Loadmac 825. Now Andrew, you can also put the truck mounted forklift from Loadmac on the back of your rigid without pulling the trailer.
Yes, yeah, if access is tight, I can either go without the trailer or I can leave the trailer somewhere suitable, go in with just the unit and the forklift, and then back to the trailer and tranship off that as well.
Okay, so Andrew's going to head away because he has some deliveries to do, so he's going to demonstrate how quickly he can get the truck mounted forklift from Loadmac back onto his truck. So Andrew, you ready? Let's go! Clock has started! So yeah, he just gets his safety belt on and gets the safety bar down, and we start it up and just demonstrate how quick it is to get it on to the truck. Now you'll notice as well that the lenses are turned in. That's just to make room for the forklift to fit in, and obviously when you're carrying it with no forklift you would swing them back out. Yeah, so look how quick that is, guys. Very easy to do. And he just turns the wheel back. But yeah, we're just going to get the chains on, and he's going to connect up his electrical wire, because obviously you have to have the rear lamps working. So we are up to 48 seconds so far. So get your chain at the back, and there's also a pin here as well. So Andrew just has one more chain and a pin, and then he's going to connect up the electrical cable into that socket there. So I get out of his way, and the electrical socket. We're nearly done. Stop! There you have it, guys. 1 minute and 14 seconds, just over. So well done, Andrew.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for demonstrating the forklift. I will let Andrew away now. So yeah, he's got some deliveries to do for Mandarin Stone. Okay, we now have Mark Hignett. He is sitting on their latest model. This is the 225. This is a working prototype. So this particular model will be going into production later this year in 2019. So you can see he has the multi-directional feature on this forklift, which means you can turn the front wheels, as you can see, and very easily get this load in the door. So yeah, this features the 1.5 litre diesel engine made by Kubota. So we have Mark Hignett here, Managing Director of ABT Loadmac. Mark, thank you very much for having me here today.
You're welcome. We're delighted to have you here, and delighted to be able to show you our latest model, the Loadmac 225, multi-directional. It's been 2 to 3 years in development. Many people will know our current product, our Loadmac 825. It's a one-side offload machine. We think probably the best truck mounted forklift in the world, but people want a smaller, compact machine, lighter and more compact, so that's what we've developed. Yeah. So the Loadmac 225 has the same lift capacity of 2.5 tons, but it's so much more compact. It only weighs in at 2 tons, and if I could take you for a walk around the features, even though we've made it much shorter, much lighter, the driver's area is still large. It's
Yes.
Even, you know, the largest of truck drivers are still extremely comfortable in there. And we've achieved that by keeping the seat and the steering wheels in the same position, and because ABT, this facility here that you're in today, it's around 3.2 acres of manufacturing, because we have traditionally made cabs for a lot of global OEMs. We know what we're doing with the cabin area because we've been doing it for 20 years. Yeah. So we've managed to keep the size in the cab, and how we've achieved that is in terms of where we place the controls. And on our current product 825, you would have had a bank of switches here, which meant that you were losing space because you had to put them in. The cab had to be longer. We've now placed them all here on what's called the B post of the cab, and that has got them out of the way and allowed us to shorten that area of the cab. I mean, with one catch, the bonnet swings fully out of the way and you have full access all the way around the engine and throughout all the hydraulics. So what we actually have here under the bonnet is a 26 horsepower 3-cylinder Kubota engine. That's coupled to a hydrostatic pump and then an auxiliary gear pump. The hydrostatic pump drives 3 wheel motors, so it's all-wheel drive. We put a large 27-inch wheel on the back so that you can actually climb up over curbs extremely easily when you're going backwards. And we have 23-inch wheels at the front, which keeps the whole chassis nice and low and keeps the centre of gravity very low. Yeah. There's quite a lot of features we carried over from the Loadmac 825. We have direct drive coupled pumps. We don't have shafts or belts driving the pumps. That's been a mistake in the industry from sort of 10 or 15 years ago. Shafts start to vibrate, belts break. So we avoid that as best we can.
And Mark, I noticed the engine is angled this way.
Yeah, it's a neat design trick to be able to get the engine and the pumps in and have them direct coupled. In the past, in compact machines, people have put the pumps next to the engine and then driven them with a chain or a belt, and that's a weak link, and very often the belt would break and then your machine is stranded. Yeah. So we don't have that problem. We will take a look at the 825 a little later, but a lot of people will be familiar with it. We have well over 500 out there working now, so a lot of people are familiar with the 825. So the big difference with this doesn't come as standard with one side offload. Because we want it to be compact and very, very light, we have done away with that, which is the standard unique feature about our 825. So this just has a single reach system that will take the load from the same side of the truck and get it down off of the truck.
Okay, Mark, so you've got the 825 Loadmac sitting on the demonstration frame there. So you're going to show us the man on the ground feature.
Yes, I am.
Great.
It's a very important feature on the Loadmac. We position the start key so that the driver does not have to climb onto the truck mounted forklift to start it, a common mistake on many other truck mounted forklifts. So the driver can walk around the side of his truck, turn on the ignition, give the truck mounted forklift a little bit of preheat and start it. Now all the hydraulics are working, but rather than having to drive onto the Loadmac, climb onto the Loadmac, he can operate the dismounting controls from the rear of the Loadmac.
Oh yeah.
So the controls he would usually have sat on the truck mounted forklift are now replicated at the back. He's able to pull the truck mounted forklift backwards to take it out of the mounting kit, and then by pushing the next lever here down, the truck mounted forklift will go down to the ground.
Oh yes, very handy.
He's achieved that all by not getting onto the truck mounted forklift. Now a very neat feature also is that when he pulls the seat down to drive it, under the machinery directive, these controls must be isolated, and you can now see that they don't work.
Oh yes.
So it's a neat little trick that with the seat up, the controls engage, and with the seat down, the controls disengage.
Right. I really like this one, Mark. I think this one is going to sell very well. So it goes into production later this year.
It goes into production in July.
In
So
July.
we're taking orders for it now, yeah, the first week of July we're building our first 6 in that week. We believe 3 or 4 of them are already sold, but as this is a pre-production model, our customers need to see this, and we wouldn't ask them for any money until they've seen the product.
Yeah, so Mark, what we're going to do is we're going to take the load off the truck mounted forklift and we're going to bring it around just to show people how the previous model compares to this new model.
Yes, that's
so that
what
they
we're going
can
to
see
do.
side by side how they differ. Okay, so we're here at the other side of the factory and Mark is here now to show us. We have the 225 on the left, the 825 on the right, how they compare. So Mark, can you just show us all around these two truck mounted forklifts?
I certainly can.
Yeah.
First I'll start with the major differences between the two machines. Clearly there's a size and weight difference. Depending on the model you have, the 225 will start in the region of 2 tons unladen weight, whereas the 825, without the one side offload, which we never sell it without the one side offload, but without one side offload would start at about 2.4 tons. With the specifications that we have here, the multi-directional machine will weigh in at 2.2 tons. The 225 will weigh in at 2.2 tons in multi-direction specification, and the 825 in multi-direction and one side offload will weigh in at 2.8 tons. So you instantly have a 600 kilograms difference between the two machines.
All right, okay.
What you also have is a narrower and more compact machine in the 225. It's ideally suited to semi-terrain applications, whereas when people really want one side offload and they want rough terrain applications, they would naturally be drawn to the 825. It's the right model for that application.
And Mark, I noticed behind you as well, this one has different tyres on it, on this 825.
It does, yes. So this is a non-multi-directional. It's a standard steer, so it operates as a standard forklift. It goes backwards and forwards as opposed to going sideways as well. And that has got the optional 280 flotation tyres on it.
So it all depends, Mark, what way these forklifts are being used.
It does. It totally depends on the customer's application. I quite often say to people when they ask me how much is a truck mounted forklift, I can say, well, I can find an old one around the back that will cost you £2,000 or £3,000.
Right.
Let's start with what you're going to do with it. What truck is it going on to? What sites are you going to be working on? What's the terrain it's working on? What products are you moving? And then you can specify the correct truck mounted forklift for the customer's application. And typically Loadmacs will start the smallest, lowest specification 225 model will start in the region of about £24,000. And then as you put taller masts on, different reach systems, different tyres, mast monitoring systems, you can build all the way up to £32,000 to £34,000 depending on what you want to do with it. But typically most Loadmacs that people buy are somewhere between £26,000 and £30,000 depending on the specification they choose.
And Mark, we'll talk about overhangs shortly. Once we get all the masts back into the forklifts,
yes,
we can just show you exactly how they differ in overhangs.
Yes,
because that's important to a lot of drivers. You know, how much further is my truck with this hanging off the back?
It makes a big difference, both in terms of manoeuvrability of the total delivery system, but also in where the weight is. The more weight that is hanging out the back of the truck, the worse the unladen ride characteristics of the host truck. There are some common features between the 225 and the 825, and those common features are that, as with both models, the engines have been turned round so they can be very, very low in the chassis. The hydraulic tanks are very low in the chassis. The batteries are forwards and again low in the chassis. This is keeping all the weight extremely low. Again, when you look at traditional truck mounted forklifts, the engine is very high because it goes all the way across the back of the machine and across the top of the wheel arch. Our engines go around the wheel arch and sit much lower. So that's common between both the 225 and the 825. The other common feature is that they both have fixed masts in terms of the tilt. And that is, again, traditionally forklifts and truck mounted forklifts, the mast will tilt backwards and forwards. but that when they're fully extended, that means there's a massive momentum and weight movement as you move the mast backwards and forwards. We don't have that on Loadmacs. All the side shift and tilt functions happen purely on the fork carriage. That is the only thing that moves. So only the fork carriage and the weight move. The mast will always stay 90 degrees to the chassis, and that's the same on both machines. Now the big difference between 225 and 825, as you can see here, is this: the 225 is known as a static mast. That is that the mast never moves. It stays right there. It's static. Yeah. And to get the load in front of the wheels, we use our IR, our integrated reach system, to move the load forward in front of the wheels. So that's how the 225 picks up a load, puts it in front of the wheels and drops it off. The 825 also has a moving mast. So I know the terminology can be a little challenging, because we've already said this has a fixed mast. The mast is fixed in that it won't tilt backwards and forwards, but it actually is a moving mast in that it will move backwards all the way back into this area here, and then you pull the integrated reach back as well, and that's what gives us the extended reach on the 825, which allows it to one side offload. So you can see quite graphically here the difference in the reach. When this is up against the side of a truck, we are picking up a load here directly off the side of the truck, but with the 825 we can reach all the way to the far side of the truck and pick up a second load. Now a really important feature of ISR, Integrated Second Reach, one side offload system from Loadmac, is that it uses standard forks. Many people to achieve this use something called a telefork. It's very thick, it's very wide, it's very expensive, and it also wears out extremely quickly. So here we have standard forks that can take any amount of abuse. But another important feature is that the ISR is a very low profile system. Many one-side offload systems are based on what's called a pantograph. And rather than having this low profile system, there would be a second mast out here at the fork face that would be this sort of height. So you cannot one-side offload double stacked products inside a curtain sider, because when you lift, the pantograph second mast will go straight up through the roof of the curtain sider. And the ISR is the only true one-side offload double stack system available in the marketplace.
Brilliant. And Mark, what way did the engines differ? Is there any difference between these two models?
Yes, we have a 4-cylinder naturally aspirated Yanmar in the 825. It's 49 horsepower. And we have a 3-cylinder naturally aspirated Kubota in the 225, which is 26 horsepower. And again, it's totally commensurate for the size of the machines and the applications that they're used in.
And Mark, I noticed that the 225 has LED headlamps, and we have halogen headlamps on the 825.
Yes, LED headlights are an option. They're available if that's what a customer wishes for. A couple of other common features between them in terms of lighting is they all have what we call dual lighting. So that is that the lights on the truck mounted forklift become the lights of the truck when it is mounted, but when it's off the truck, all the lights work as per a normal vehicle. So they're dual 24 volt and 12 volt lights, and it's standard on a Loadmac. The other electrical feature that's standard on the Loadmac is our mast monitoring system, and you can see it here on the 825 because the mast has been moved forward. The mast monitoring system sounds a buzzer and flashes a light when the operator is moving the steering from standard steer, so that's forward backward steer, to multi-directional steer. If they don't have the load above the wheels and fully backwards, they will get an alarm. And that's another safety feature on Loadmacs, and that's common on both the 225 and the 825.
And Mark, I noticed as well, are both back wheels the same size?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, both different tyres?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
We have two types of industrial tyre here, but when we designed the 225, because we were able to do it, we gave it a large back wheel. And what that does is, with a large rolling circumference, it means when you have to climb over curbs and so on, it climbs very easily backwards over curbs. Yeah. Whereas with the smaller 23-inch wheels, it would be a little bit more of a challenge for it to make that manoeuvre.
Okay, where's the handbrake? Okay guys, here we are on the A25 Loadmac. All our lever controls down here. So yeah, I'm going to take it out into the field and see what it's like. Mark is following me there. So what's very handy on the A25 forklift is when you power forward, the minute you take your foot off the accelerator, it stops. Very good safety feature. Okay. Wow, that is soft. You can see it. Let's just spin around and go back over this small bit of a hill again. Making sure that the weight is brought back to the blades. Nice and easy. And up we go. Now of course, if you were going down a very steep hill, you would be reversing down the hill, not driving down the hill, because you need to have all the weight right at the back of the mast here. But you can see yourself just how maneuverable it is. You can turn it 360 degrees. Look. Fantastic. I think it's time to hand over to Mark Hignett and get him to demonstrate exactly what it's capable of by driving up a far steeper hill than this. Okay, so Mark has the 2.5 ton weight on the blades of the forklift, and he's just going to take the A25 out. It is very soft ground. So can he get up this hill? So we have the 49 horsepower Yamaha engine. Look at this, that was so easy. That was really easy now. So it just goes to show what the A25 is capable of. And of course you have the off-road tires as well. It just makes the job a lot easier. So we're just back here in the factory. We have the 225 and the A25 parked beside each other again. And I just want to show you a couple of more differences between both forklifts. Now both forklifts do have the side shift function, which is very handy for loading your trailer, just for positioning your pallet. But on the 225, it has the fork positioning system, where it will move in and out the fork blades. It'll narrow them or widen them with you sitting on the forklift, so you don't have to hop off and adjust them manually. It's all done automatically. So I just want to show you just the engineering behind it. Now, an awful lot of competitors' truck mounted forklifts would have even more steel coming out here. It'll be wider, but you can see the way Loadmac have narrowed it here. So it means that the forklift is closer to the truck, which means that the overhang is shorter. Now let me just show you, because we have both forklifts positioned exactly beside each other here, just to show you the difference in the overhang. So there's a 200mm overhang difference between the A25 and the 225. You can see it there, 200mm. Now if you were to spec these two forklifts spec for spec, you're talking about a 600 kilo weight difference. So you might need to consider that as well if you want to choose the 225 or the A25. So Mark, it all boils down to what the operator needs the forklift for.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you've got two different forklifts designed for different applications. So the 225 is extremely compact, extremely lightweight, running with 26 horsepower. So it's ideal for semi-terrain applications, but it's still got great stability and lift capacity. And then really you've got the premium product, the 825, you know, 49 horsepower, 2.5 ton lift capacity, and full one-side offload, even double stacked inside a curtain sider.
Yes, yeah,
so you know, it depends on the application. If you're working in yards and on hardcore surfaces and occasionally going on soft ground, the 225 is more than adequate, and you get an extra 600 kilograms payload.
Yes.
If you have to go rough terrain, if you're handling particularly large items and you want to one-side offload, 825 is the perfect machine. So it's a case of understanding the customer's application, his host vehicle, his sites and the products he's moving, and then choosing the right machine for them.
We'll leave it there, guys. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers.
So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified of upcoming videos in the future. But I really enjoyed my tour looking around the ABT Loadmac factory. Cheers, Mark. Guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll chat to you all again next weekend for another video. So until then, take care and thanks for watching. Cheers! I really need to get this haircut, guys. Okay, guys, we're in the middle of a shower of rain, so we better wait for this to calm down before we continue. Look after the microphone, guys.